I've been thinking about war because I've been thinking about last century's two great conflicts and all the other ones that have gone on since. Um, Korea, Vietnam, and I'm just thinking about the ones that peacetime America has been involved in: Iraq, Iran. Yeah, it's a long list, and I don't even know the half of it, and a lot of it was all done undercover, anyways. Sending in operatives to overturn governments and replace them with puppet head governments. So I'm just sitting there. Well, now we need a big one to use up the surplus population, see? Because you've got all these gung ho, hair trigger, angry, antisocial men running around, creating a lot of problems for a lot of people. And they were created that way by the regime that needed to ride their backs to victory, is now ridden their backs to victory, and it doesn't need them anymore. They're not really good for much else these days because they've been ruined by the propaganda. They've become, as I say, antisocial rage demons, and they can't have a civil conversation, most of them. So what happens to this group of people? Well, you throw them at an enemy, of course. They're cannon fodder. But in today's terms of conflict, most of that is done with drones, not boots on the ground. And where exactly would you send those boots? We're not poised to make an enemy of anyone big enough to warrant. I mean, about the only one I can think of is Russia, and that seems possible. Could go to war over Ukraine and take out a whole bunch and then hand a whole bunch of it back to Vladimir, which I'm sure he wants after crippling it all. And then he'll make a pile of money off of it as well, because war makes money. And so then that'll build up the reserves of money in each government on either side of the war, because, of course, the two governments themselves are agreeing to go to war for the purposes of going to war, not because they want to take each other out. Yeah, you misunderstood that. That was the game they were playing with your heads. War is very deliberate. It's a way of enslaving more people, essentially. You kill lots of them, and the ones that are left behind work twice as hard as normal because they think because you can get them in on the effort, and you can threaten them with treason, and you can get really, I mean, when's the last time you knew a narcissist that didn't use crises as an excuse to get their way, right? They'll manufacture a crisis if that's what it takes to get what they want. Now, what do our current overlord narcissists want? Everything! Of course, everything. And they want you to work yourself to death, to die in the traces, to put every erg of energy you can find in every last cell of your body and give it to them. And pop off a dozen children to do the same. And he wants you to do it all on the minimum necessary living qualities. So, the least he can possibly give you. Hence why we have people now sleeping on the street to get up to go to work in the morning. That's a thing. So we've gotten to a point where they can't do it with civil means anymore. So it's time for a war. And the thing is, yeah, I think China will stay out of it. I think it's going to be Russia and America posturing at each other until they manage to pull together whoever's on their side and drag each side in. And I think that there's going to be a whole lot of neutral territories in the middle that get turned into mud and mess. I don't think it's inevitable. Oh, heck no. There's at least 5 timelines where we do something about it. There's only 2 where we actually go to war. It's just that we're facing those 2. And if we don't start doing something radical to yank our society to one direction or another, some other direction, hard right, hard left, I don't care, but we can't go straight, we could only wind up with those two possible versions of future, both of which are war. One's win and one's lose. And whatever the heck that means, because we all lose. Only the house wins. You lose your sons, and now your daughters. You lose all of those people that were trying to make a better world, and all of those people that were speaking up, and all of those people with courage, and all of those people with morals, and all of the good people that you lose. You lose them either because they protest and get taken out, or you lose them because they get sent over and never come back the same if they come back at all. And it's been going on. I mean, they've been conditioning the public to get used to the idea of soldiers that vanish forever or come back crippled. They've gotten you used to it. But my parents' generation saw what it's like. You haven't. War games just don't compare to what's coming if you continue down this path. I'm going to need the young folks to plan this one out because it's their life and their future. Personally, all I got left is to talk about my history and my knowledge. That's what I've got to try and inspire others. And I don't want to tell people what to do because my path is that of anarchy. And anarchy at its core value means I am not telling you what to do. I do not coerce others. And that includes not trying to force them not to try to force others. Like, I'm not going to tell people you can't, and that includes you can't make laws, you can't try to enforce the laws, you can't try to do this to each other. I can't do any of that if I really believe in anarchy. So, I am bound by my anarchy only, and that is that I am not going to tell you what to do. But there are number of reins and horse teams to pick up to suddenly yank us all sideways, and there are more positive directions we can go than there are negative directions we can go. We just need to turn 10 degrees of attitude in either direction. And when I say either direction, I don't mean right or left. I mean the people get more violent or the people get more peaceful. So either we're going to see a whole lot more public violence to the degree that it frightens the people in charge, or we're going to see a whole lot more passive resistance to the point that they can't get anything done. One of those two things is going to get us out of this terrible path of pain and chaos and possible annihilation. It could be an extinction event. Frankly, there's too much war between now and an extinction event to see past the war. Psychically speaking, I can't see past it because the conflict is so black. And it may be that the heart won't look, and I accept that. Some things I won't look at. Let's not go there. There's sunshines and rainbows either way. Either you can start taking out the rude boys in your life and take them down hard, spank them proper, show them you're not as weak as they think you are. Or, again, you're going to have to be strong for either one of these choices because it takes strength to change the direction. A lot of strength. You can also stop participating in anything and everything that has anything to do with what you object, and just stand on your principles. And frankly, you're going to get fewer people willing to do that than you are people willing to start slapping each other. So maybe just start slapping down the rude ones. But we got to make a change. Yeah, girls, take the gloves off.